Dieu Nghiem, Sister Dieu Nghiem will help with the guided meditation.
So shall we invite the bell? The Sangha is invited to go back to our breathing so that our collective energy of mindfulness brings us together as a going as a river with no more separation.
Dear respected Thầy, dear sisters and dear Sangha, now we begin the guided meditation with the evening chant. Now I would like to invite everyone to sit in a comfortable position. You can sit cross-legged on a cushion, or you can sit in a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Whatever your sitting position, make sure your back is straight but not too tense. Relax your shoulders. If you feel any part is uncomfortable, then let's stretch a little bit. Identify relaxation in your head, neck, shoulders, back, thighs, and feet. Allow your whole body to relax. You may like to softly close your eyes or keep them slightly open. Gently smile on your lips. Enjoy your breathing. We are together generate the feeling of stability and peace in each in-breath and out-breath. With hearts upright and solid, we are sitting at the foot of the Bodhi tree. Body, spirit, and mind are one in stillness. There is no more our minds into meditation. Namo Sakyamunaya Buddhaya. Breathing in, I am aware of my in-breath. Breathing out, I am aware of my out-breath. In, out. Breathing in, I follow my in-breath all the way through. Breathing out, I follow my out-breath all the way through. Follow in-breath all the way through. Follow out-breath all the way through. Breathing in, I am aware of my body. Breathing out, I relax my body. Aware of body, relaxing body. Breathing in, I am aware of the tensions in my body. Breathing out, I release the tensions in my body. Aware of tensions, releasing tensions. Breathing in, I am aware of my feelings. Breathing out, I recognize to my feelings. Aware of feelings, recognizing feelings. Breathing in, I am aware of my mental formations. Breathing out, I recognize my mental formations. Aware of mental formations, recognizing mental formations. Breathing in, I am aware of wholesome mental formations in me. Breathing out, I smile to my wholesome mental formations. Aware of wholesome mental formations. Smile. Breathing in, I am aware of unwholesome mental formation in me. Breathing out, I embrace my unwholesome mental formations. Aware of unwholesome mental formations. Embracing unwholesome mental formations. Breathing in, I feel peace in my mind. Breathing out, I feel peace in my body. Peace in my mind. Peace in my body. Breathing in, I am aware of my in-breath. Breathing out, I am aware of my out-breath. In, out. Thank you, everyone. Now you can slowly open your eyes and massage your face, your body.
So let's take a moment to stretch our legs and move around a bit if you need to. So so typically in this part of our service, we do the refuge chant. So perhaps we could do that and then invite the Dharma talk. If that's okay. Is that okay?
Could you repeat what you just shared? Sorry, we were not able to hear you.
Oh, okay. So maybe I need to talk a little louder.
Yeah, talk to that thing.
Talk
loud enough that it picks you up.
Okay. Yes, typically at this time we do the refuge chant to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And if that's okay, we would like to do that and then invite the Dharma talk. Is that okay?
I think you might have to unmute on your machine and all
You can unmute.
No, you're good.
They can hear us through that microphone thing.
Okay.
If we project.
Okay.
Oh no.
All right. At the sound of the bell, we'll stand to do the refuge chant. Om Namo Amitabha Buddhaya.
Amitabha Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. We take refuge in the awakening heart of infinite light, that which shows us the way in this life.
Om Namo Amitabha Dharmaya.
Amitabha Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami. We take refuge in the awakening path of infinite light, the way of understanding and of love.
Om Namo Amitabha Sangaya.
Amitabha Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. We take refuge in the awakening community of infinite light, those who live in harmony and awareness.
Thank you so much. Let's be seated. So I'm very happy to say that we are joined this evening by Sister True Pearl, Sister True Practice, and Sister True Harmony. They're going to talk with us a little bit about the second mindfulness training, which many of us are familiar with because last week we did a transmission ceremony with 5 mindfulness trainings. However, we didn't talk about the specifics of the second mindfulness training, True Happiness. And I think that is what Sister Boi Nghiem wants to talk about. And so thank you very much. And we are ready to listen.
Dear respected Thầy, dear sisters and dear friends, Sitting next to me is Sister Hoc Nghiem, Sister True Practice. We happen to be blood sister in a former life. That's why this life we continue to be blood sister and spiritual sister. And the sister that gave the guided meditation earlier is Sister True Harmony, Sister Dieu Nghiem. Thank you so much for inviting us to be here with you tonight. And thank you for spending your Sunday with the Dallas Meditation Center Sangha. I know that this Sangha was founded by Chi Sing. May I ask how many of us here have met Chi Sing before? Yes, he is indeed a very special and compassionate person. I would like to send joyful congratulations to those who received the 5 mindfulness trainings last week. May we have a raise of hand who received them last week, please? Only one person?
6. We had 6 people are here, and there were 14 altogether.
Wow, that is wonderful. Thank you so much for the commitment that you take on walking the path of understanding and love with the monastics, with the OI members, and with those who have received the trainings, and of course those who aspire to receive the trainings in the future. I like to talk about happiness because I consider myself a happy person sometimes, and sometimes I am not. And I think it's a topic that we all can relate to, right? Because all of us want to be happy. Is that correct? Is that why you started your spiritual journey? Is because you want more happiness in your life? And perhaps in the past, especially when you were teenage years or young adults, you would consider happiness as falling in love, right? Or being in love with the person that you love, or have a fancy car, or people give you compliments. But as you get older, once you invested more in your spiritual practice, you see happiness. You have a different relationship with happiness. And then once you took on the 5 mindfulness trainings and be more committed in the practice, you started to see happiness differently. So, because the impermanent nature of everything, with our own thinking, maturity, the environment, that our relationship with happiness changes over time. First, I would like to invite all of you to answer 2 questions, and you may type it in the chat box. And perhaps it would be nice to hear one friend from the Dallas Meditation Center sitting in the meditation hall to respond. The question is, what conditions are you having right now that make you happy? Like true happiness. And what is preventing you from being happy? Please type the answer in the chat box. And we will read them out loud as we receive them.
Anybody here want to
No answer.
It'd be nice to write in a complete sentence where we can have more details. Like smile and frown.
I can.
Gratitude is a condition for happiness, and my judgment prevents me. I have a safe place to live.
We had one in the room. Diana,
Yes.
Oh, sure. Also, gratitude for the present moment, but I would say prevention would be fear or worrying about the future.
It would be dumb and say I would like money. Money would make me happy.
Yeah. More money would make me happy, right?
And energy. I would like more health, actually. But money.
We only received, okay, here's another response. Happiness comes from calm in my life, basic needs met, joy to practice, and gratitude and humor in the present moment.
Yes, Quentin.
I'm happy to be reestablishing some friendships and relationships with people that I have lost touch with in the past. I'm I'm the biggest obstacle to my happiness. So I'm not sure how else to say it other than that. It's just me.
Thank you. One friend shared that being with my family and grandchildren, playing music. Unhappiness comes when I am holding grudges from my past and worry in the future. I'm in a position to be a stay-home parent to my 10-month daughter, which brings a lot of joy. Getting caught up in distractions sometimes prevents me from taking full advantage at this moment. There's distractions from the present. We have a lot of that these days, right? Thank you so much, dear friends. If you are still typing, please feel free to do so, and we can read your answer in a little bit. Many of you mentioned that gratitude plays a big role in being happy. And this is a teaching also given by a teacher that as long as we have gratitude in the heart, happiness is also present. And many scientists as well as researchers have found that to have gratitude is very good to our own health, not just to our physical health, but also to our mental health. So I hope that whenever you are aware of your feelings, like what Sister Dieu Nghiem shared earlier, if you have a neutral feelings, we can ask ourselves, why do I have neutral feeling? I can breathe, I can see, I can hear, and I'm having a neutral feeling? Well, that's kind of ironic, isn't it? And then right away, that neutral feeling will be transformed into pleasant feeling. And that is the art of practice. As a meditation practitioner, it is important that we cultivate happiness, peace, and joy before we transform our suffering. That's why today I want to talk about happiness. Because most of us, when we first encounter the practice, or when we first receive the 5 mindfulness trainings, we have this great aspiration to transform our difficulties and our suffering. But how can we do that if inside of us we do not yet have enough happiness and peace, or that cultivation is still lacking in our daily life? So, dear friends, please don't rush into transform suffering, because that is a very difficult task. An easier task is to cultivate happiness, and that is to come back to the present moment and be grateful to what we have and what we don't have. In the second mindfulness training, there's a sentence that says, happiness is not possible without understanding and compassion. And that happiness and that running after wealth, fame, power, and sensual pleasures can bring much suffering and despair. I think all of us are at the age where we know that statement is true, right? How many of us here have run after wealth, fame, power, and sensual pleasures, and then realize, oh, this is not true happiness? Can you raise your hand? Congratulations, you have enlightenment. And we have so much compassion for those who are currently walking on the path that we used to walk, chasing after these five: fame. You know, we look at famous people. When they were not yet famous, they tried to find ways to be famous, for people to know them. And then now, people know them, and they just want to have a normal life like we all do. Isn't that quite amazing to know? Many people are seeking to have just a normal life like we have, because they are tired of people following them, people write about them, people wanting to know their private life. And here, nobody is following us. Nobody wants to take a picture of us. We have to worry about people writing about us. So we can think about this, and this is a condition of happiness. We're having a normal life, and this normal life is pretty extraordinary, by the way. The suffering that we see these days is because of the exploitation, social injustice, stealing, and oppression. In the United States nowadays, we talk a lot about the social injustice. The people in the BIPOC community, in the LGBTQIA+ community, in the marginalized groups, they experience this injustice every single day. For those of us who identify ourselves as white, perhaps the suffering we have is there, but we never have to suffer because of our skin color. But for the BIPOC community, with all the suffering they have, on top of that, they also experience these challenges and the injustice because of their skin color. Sitting here, all three of the sisters are BIPOC, but we are sheltered in the monastery. We are very well protected. But not everybody is that privileged. So when we are aware of the social injustice, we know that happiness is very difficult to be found in those friends who are experiencing injustice in their daily life. So what can we do as fellow practitioners? What can we do when we have the privilege because of our skin color, of the position that we have at the workplace, or in sanghas, or in the public? Do we do our best to raise awareness of the social injustice. And because when we put an effort in raising the awareness, then right at that moment, we are alleviating suffering and cultivating happiness to others and to ourselves. And it makes me extremely happy to know that the Dallas Meditation Center Sangha is quite diverse. Looking on the screen, seeing your names, we come together to cultivate happiness, to become aware of the suffering, and at the same time to cultivate happiness. And as we know that in all these 5 trainings, they are somewhat connected. And, the traditional precepts, it would just say, do not kill, do not steal, do not have sexual misconduct, and do not use alcohol. But as we see that the wordings of these trainings are very inclusive and easy to understand, and inviting us to practice in our daily life. And as you notice that when you look at the training, I will share my screen with you so that you can see. If I may have the co-host capacity so that I can share the screen with our friends. Thank you. So when we look at the wording on the second mindfulness training or the other trainings in the 5 mindfulness trainings, we see that it is encouraging us to do this. I am committed to practicing generosity in my thinking, speaking, and acting. I am determined not to steal and not to possess anything that should belong to others. I will share my time, energy, and material resources with those who are in need. I don't see any sentence that start with do not. So it's more focused on what can you do at this very moment. It's a lot of I am committed, I am determined, I will share, I will practice, I am aware, I can live. So it's so compassionate of Thich and of the Sangha to write these trainings in a way where when we see them, we feel inspired to practice. As we know that in order for us to have true happiness, practicing generosity is very crucial and important. In Buddhism, we talk about 3 kinds of generosity. The first one is materials, what we can give. And the second one is the Dharma, teachings, or our life experiences. Third one is non-fear. Third one is non-fear, which we don't often consider as a gift, right? We don't often hear people think that as a gift. And this non-fear here needs to be cultivated in our daily life, especially when we are healthy, when our mind is in the present moment. That's when we can practice to cultivate non-fear so that when somebody is in dire need of help and they're sitting next to us, that energy of non-fear can radiate and they feel solid and at peace. Have you sat next to somebody who had that non-fear energy before when you were very unstable or needed help? Can you raise your hand if you had? And have you had a chance to offer that non-fear in you to somebody that was experiencing great suffering? To offer that peace of mind is a very great gift. And at times when we don't have any materials, then what we can do is we can offer our non-fear. And so we practice generosity with our thinking, speaking, and acting. I think first, it's important that we practice that with ourselves. Because if we are unable to practice generosity with ourselves, then the generosity that we give to others, we can have compassion fatigue. So take times during the day and show kindness to ourselves by a way of thinking, expressing gratitude to ourselves. And when we do this, we also practice gratitude to our ancestors and to the people that raised us, whether that is our parents, our grandparents, or our uncles and aunties. Because we know that gratitude leads to true happiness. And if we are someone who think that, I have been practicing mindfulness for a few years and I don't see any improvement, I think that would make a teacher very sad. Because then it's like, you don't believe in impermanence. So please, don't think that the good seeds in you haven't sown. The positive changes in you haven't happened with all those months and years that you have practiced. It might be little, but they are there. You might not see them, but others do see them. And you might not see them, but it doesn't mean that they are not there, right? Just like when we look at the trees, do we see the roots? But does it mean that the roots are not there? They're there. So thank yourself for continuing to walk on the spiritual path, for remembering to breathe and to look at yourself with eyes of compassion. Then when you are at the workplace, on the street, if you see injustice, if you see someone steals, there is peace in your heart and you know what to do. When you become an active bystander with compassion and with non-violence. So self-compassion is self-care and it's not selfish. So please take moments during the day to practice generosity toward yourself, especially to all the mothers in here, to all the fathers. or parents to be, because there are a lot of plates on your shoulders that you have to take care. When we look at the news, we see that there's a lot of greed going on, right? People wish to have more power, more money, more attention. And they're willing to do whatever they can, whether that is spreading disinformation, misinformation, to get what they want. The greediness in a human is quite strong, just like the desire. And how lucky are we to know that that is not the path to true happiness? That the foundation of true happiness is based on compassion and understanding. When we see a teenager makes a mistake, or why is it so difficult for teenagers to go to sleep early? And perhaps you keep on yelling at them, please go to sleep early. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Why are you still awake? Do you know why they can't go to sleep early? It's not because it's their talent. It is because the hormone in their body. It is because the makeup of their body at that age. Their clock is different than the adults. This is something I just learned over the summer. That their clock is 2 hours behind us. Like for us, it's 12 o'clock, but for them, it's only 10. Or sometimes it's like 4 hours behind us. And when I understood this, I have so much compassion for the teenagers. And I asked them, when is it best for me to call and talk to you, to hear you share from your heart? And they would say, late at night. So if you have teenagers and you want them to be open to you and really share with you what is inside their hearts, please call them at 10 at night. It's okay to go to sleep late from time to time. And you will be amazed by their openness, honesty. Yes. And when we do that, we're helping with their mental health. And what a great happiness it is for us when we're able to help somebody, right? We just want to help people. All of you sitting here, you want to help people. You want to help yourself. Then who knows, maybe one day, this teenager will send you a text and say, can we talk? And you'll be surprised. Like I would never expect my niece to send me an email or a text to talk to this bald nun. Can we talk? And of course, yes, we can talk. So be happy when a teenager asks that they want to talk to you. It means they trust you, take refuge in you. And they just need like listening ears. And through that, we can share with them about, the practice of true happiness, that stealing is an act of disrespect. is an act of consider other people as not giving credit to others. That's how I see stealing is. So when we know somebody did something that we consider that successful, please be happy for them and give them credit for it. And don't take on the credit all alone, all by ourselves. And if we see something on the street or at the workplace, pay attention to our thoughts and our feelings. Do we have the desire to take it home with us? When we are able to recognize of these small things, and it will help us to prevent us from making big mistake later on in life. Just like the first mindfulness training, reverence for life, we don't even harm an ant. Then how can we have a thought of harming a person? When children come to the monastery, we invite them, we teach them to hold a cup of water with 2 hands and to show love and to see the power of these 2 hands. Then it will help them to see that, please, these hands present on this earth to protect and to love, not to abuse others, not to hit others at school, or not to write mean letters. And so we know that we are all connected, human to human, but also human with nature, with Mother Earth. This is more obvious these days now, with all the hurricanes that many people have experienced. There are parts of Mississippi River that are drying up. To say only one group of people are responsible and only one group of people are affected is not true. We are all affected and we all play a role. And I hope that the Sangha has had Dharma sharing to look into what can we do as individuals, as a community, to reverse the process. Not to reverse, I think it's too late now. It's too late to reverse the process of global warming, but to prevent, right? To preserve, to heal our precious planet. Being a vegetarian is a wonderful way, or eat less meat. There are many things that we can do. And come together like this, learning from each other, listening to each other, is also a way to heal our Mother Earth. And dear friends, as our teacher often share that the conditions of happiness that we have are abundant. Whenever we are sad, please don't forget to think of the conditions of happiness we have. That we're able to walk. That at least there's one person in our life we can call and talk. The Sangha is here with us. And don't just focus on the person that made us sad. Don't forget the people that still love us. And oftentimes when we suffer, we only focus on the person that makes us suffer and we forget the people that love us. I have made that mistake, and I'm also doing my best to change my practice. And we say that it is the people that love us that have a great impact in our life. And yet when we suffer, it's very rare that we think about them. So really, let the people that love us have great impact with the decisions that we make, with the words that we say, with the action that we do. Because they can also make us happy. They are there to support us and help us. That happiness depends on not on external conditions, but it also depends on how we think. But everything is inter-R. And when suffering comes to us, difficulties, challenges come to us, please don't just blame it on ourselves. Oh, it's all your fault. Oh, you should have this, should have. That's like a second arrow for ourselves. At that time, we need support and we need compassionate thoughts. We need to produce those thoughts and not blaming. And then when the storm has passed, we can take some time to reflect back on and see if what role we contributed in that. But when we are in the midst of great suffering, please don't blame yourself. At that moment, you deserve your own love the most. And this can also help us to experience true happiness in the present moment. Thank you so much, dear friends and dear sisters, for your listening.
Thank you, Sister. We would like to invite anybody that has a question or a comment, something you'd like to say to Sister Boi Nghiem or any of them. We have about 15 minutes for sharing. So whatever you want to share is invited now.
And dear friends, if you don't feel comfortable in asking the question, you might type in the chat box. Sister Hoc Nghiem, Sister Dieu Nghiem, and they can help with the session of questions and answers. This is a very precious opportunity, so please don't be shy.
So, I mean, and maybe I didn't hear this right, but you talked about being sort of on the receiving end of suffering. What about when you are actually the cause of somebody else's suffering? And how do you reconcile the need to, you have to forgive yourself to some extent in order to grow and move past it and to, try to put better energy out into the universe, but you also need to learn a lesson as well, so as to not repeat that, and continue being a source of suffering. So how do you reconcile that? I guess that's something that I struggle with, knowing that I've hurt people in the past, and I can't wallow in it, but I also, can't forget it either.
We can't hear you. Your microphone is muted.
I'm repeating the question to Sister Hoc Nghiem.
Oh, okay.
So if I may repeat the question, so you cause suffering to others, and now what can you do, right? How can you practice to forgive yourself so that you have more happiness? Is that correct?
Forgive myself without forgetting and learning a lesson from right.
Okay, so he caused suffering, and now he wants to learn to practice to forgive himself, but not forgetting the mistakes he made. Yes. So, dear friends, first of all, I'm very happy to be part of the session today. There was a number of friends from Dallas Meditation Centers came to Magnolia Grove before, and I also met teaching when he was alive. And actually, when I met him in person, I didn't know much about him. I just knew that he was a good songwriter and also a good singer, and I really enjoy singing the songs that he wrote. And after that, I think after he passed away, I happened to read his books, and by reading that books, I had a lot of respect for him, and I felt that if I knew him more, like when he was alive, maybe the connection, the relationship between teaching and me could be different. Like so, I also, even though he passed away, but I still have a lot of respect for him, and I'm happy for you that you continue to come to practice at the center that found by teaching. So I'm very happy to be here with you today, and also friends who are not from the Dallas Meditation Practice Center. To respond to the question, I see that we are human beings, so we are not perfect. We do our best to not causing suffering to ourselves and to others. But because we are human beings, there are times we are not really mindful or maybe not really skillful, so we cause suffering to others or to ourselves. And this is very wonderful here is that you um, you acknowledge that you cause suffering to someone, and you want to learn a lesson from that incident, and you don't want to forget the fact that you cause the suffering to someone. So that is very good, because there are people who cause suffering to others, and they are not responsible to the fact that they cause suffering to others, and they found a way in order to run away from that responsibility. So for me, I also reminding myself to be responsible. It doesn't matter if we get mistakes or we cause difficulties or suffering to ourselves or to someone from time to time. It doesn't matter. It matters is that we don't bear the responsibilities. We are not able to say sorry, or we try to find ways in order to be accused, to run away from what we had done. So I see that in this case, give you some credit, because you see that causing sufferings to someone is not a good thing, but at least um, you see that you are responsible from what you had done, and you want to learn a lesson. So you can look deeply and see that um, what was the reason that you caused that suffering to someone, to really see the cause and to see what can you learn from that, uh, to see that, oh, maybe when that happened, I better did something else, said something else instead of um, saying the words or did what I had done, so look deeply and see, and then you can learn from that. uh, so I think that is one way. mm. Yeah, but and I also wish that you don't feel heavy in your heart. um, you practice in such a way that the Buddha also said that um, there is no one perfect. um, we make mistakes from time to time, um, but um, you get credit when you make mistakes and you are able to recognize it and be responsible to it and say sorry to the people that you cause suffering. It's much better than you never make mistakes, or you make mistakes or you cause others to be suffer and you run away. You are not responsible for that. uh, yeah, so from this, just in that teaching of the Buddha, and uh, just see that there is a way out. You don't need to be suffer uh, day by day or feel heavy in your heart. um, and of course, like if the one you cause suffering to that one, and if you sincerely say sorry and explain how you were, and if you say that from your heart and you um, learn a lesson and you um, try your best not having the same mistake in the future, I think that person would be very happy and would be very pleased um, uh, with the fact that you acknowledge what you had done. Yeah, so that is what I would like to share with you. I don't know my sisters have anything else to add. Thank you for your listening.
Paul bowing in. Um, I have a question, and it's actually some elements that come up in the second mindfulness training where it sort of acknowledges that we see climate change and global warming, that we see injustices in society. And I find that like I feel completely powerless to do anything about these problems, but I feel like there are great problems and I should do something. But I just end up sort of drowning in despair and feeling very depressed and nihilistic. And I was wondering if you guys have any thoughts or perspective when we find ourselves in that mindset of there's these great problems and I can't do anything to help. Where can we go for refuge so that we don't drown in despair and nihilism and depression?
Keeps repeating.
Are we going to try to end at 7? Are we going to try to end at 7?
I hope so.
So we just have
About 5.
Dear respected Thầy, dear sisters and dear friends, thank you so much for that question, Paul. There's a calligraphy by our teacher that I really like. We can be aware of the suffering, but we also have the right to enjoy happiness or to be aware of happiness. Something on that line, right, Sister Hoc Nghiem? Yeah, I don't remember the accurate, the exact text, but it is in that spirit. You know, sometimes I say to myself, for the past 2,600 years, disciples of the Buddha or Jesus, Muhammad, though these great teachers, ask us to pray for world peace. May all beings be happy and safe. May everybody be at peace. And we see that, oh, it seems like people are suffering more and more these days. What is the purpose of my praying? Should I continue to pray? Should I continue to wish everybody be peaceful and happy? Because looking around, yeah, it's a mess. I just want to share with you a funny story. A few days ago, I was watching a video on sexism and gender inequality. And this person asked one of the friends, one of the child, say that, why do women get paid less than men when they do the same amount of work? And then she just shook her head and she said, this world is a mess. And this is like, I think a 7-year-old child. She already knows that this world is a mess. Yes, and in the Fourth Noble Truth, the Buddha also encourages us to be aware of the suffering. But the Third Noble Truth, he's telling us that there is happiness. So it's important that we keep that balance and don't just focus so much on what you cannot do. For example, whenever you buy something, besides looking at the price tag, look for sustainability. Look for protecting Mother Earth. Look for fair trade. Look for non-GMO. Look for organic. Then at that time, you are helping Mother Earth. When you intend to buy a pair of clothes, ask yourself, do I really need it? I didn't have this in the last, I'm just guessing your age, okay, Paul? I didn't have this for the last 20 years. And I'm okay with it. Do I need this? I think I can survive without this. Then at that time, you are helping Mother Earth. Now, as a white man, I assume you are white. I also, please correct me if I'm wrong, if you're a cis white man.
Correct.
And know that you are the most powerful person in the room, more than anybody else. And when you are aware of this, is it your ego that comes up, or is it your compassion? We need more cis white men that help to eradicate injustice and white supremacy. You can do this with compassion and with humor and with joy, I think. If in a meeting you notice that somebody, a woman, is talking, sharing her ideas, and suddenly another man speak up in a way that is, making her feel very unpleasant, then as a cis white man, somebody who practices meditation and mindfulness, right at that moment, you can share something. So perhaps the word is, there's no way that we can help to solve world problems. But focus on an area that you want to do. Yeah. But first we have to educate ourselves first. And also ask questions like this to other people who have experience. In the 70s, in the 80s, it was tough years for our teachers after the end of war. When we read some of his poems, notice that he also write the suffering in the poems, but at the same time, he often invites us to come back to enjoy nature. Be surrounded by with like-minded people that are interested in practicing meditation and mindfulness. Have days of mindfulness, or be with children, or help others. It was also a lot for our teachers if he would just sit there and write. That's why he worked in the vegetable garden. So keep that balance. Instead of reading the news all the time, instead of reading, all this sad news, yes, we have to be aware of the suffering. But at the same time, we do it in moderation. We also read news that lift us up. I noticed that Good Morning, CBS Morning, they have a segment nowadays, it's called Uplift. And they contain stories that for viewers to be happy when they watch. And there's nothing wrong when we watch uplift stories or read uplift news. We're not being selfish. It's just that we want to balance ourselves and also to remind ourselves there is still beauty in life. There are still many wonderful bodhisattvas who are alleviating the suffering. So if we find that it's too much just to focus on the group of people that cause climate change, that cause war, focus on the group of people that are doing everything they can to help the world more peaceful, to help Mother Earth to heal. Yes, that's what I do. To nourish me. I'm not just going to sit here and focus on the people that create problems. I want to focus on the people that solve problems, that help to find ways to eradicate problems and bring compassion and awareness to the world. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you so much for being with us this evening, Sister True Pearl, Sister Practice, and Sister Harmony. We're very appreciative. We love having you with us. And I hope you will visit again very soon. And I hope to be able to go to Magnolia Grove to see you there. That's a real joy every time I've done it. So there's one announcement that I know about, and that is that on Saturday, this coming Saturday, we're going to have a facilitator training, And that's aimed at anybody that wants to help out with facilitation, either in this Sangha or any other Sangha. There are all kinds of things to help with. And we would only ask you to do whatever you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with just inviting the bell, then that's all you would have to do. If that is not comfortable for you, but you still would like to participate, come and learn how you can be a greeter and invite people in and tell them, take off their shoes, that sort of thing. So if you're interested in that, please join us on Saturday at 1 o'clock. And we'll be just a couple of hours. It's fun, and you get to learn how to invite the bell, which to me is a thrill. I think that's about it for this week.
Yeah, I'll do one announcement. And something you had said, Bobby, you said how much you appreciate your visits to Magnolia Grove. I'd like to invite all of our members to know that the sisters are really only a 9-hour drive from us. We just crossed Arkansas into Mississippi and they're there. One of the most wonderful weekends I had was a private retreat there, not private, personal, and spending a Friday through a Tuesday living and working with the monks and nuns, and spending the day of mindfulness on Sunday when the community comes to the monastery and practices meditation and has lunch together. It's a pretty simple thing to go there and do, and very, very worthwhile. It was a really good lesson for me, or a good opportunity, I should say, rather than a lesson. It was an invitation to me to see how I can practice mindfulness in everything I do throughout the day, rather than, when I sit on the cushion for, a half hour. So just welcome you all to look into that. There are organized retreats, and then you can do personal retreats as well. Or just go for a Sunday for practice with Nick in Little Rock, and then drive the rest of the way to another 4-hour drive to the monastery. Have a Sunday meditation and lunch with the monastics. Thank you.
All right. Let's do our closing chant.
Would it be possible for Sister Hoc Nghiem just to share a few words before we end?
Oh, sure.
Thank you. So, dear friends, we're happy that we have a chance to practice together, to see each other, and to hear from one another. You feel nourished, and we also feel nourished from your presence, from your practice. And we also hope that one day we will see you here at Magnolia Grove Monastery. And if we have a chance to go to Dallas, of course, we will visit your center. And we will have a live session of practice in the center together. So, yeah, hopefully one day in the near future. So, and we love to have you here. So, manage to come, and it is very, I think those who have been here before, you also experience the joy, the peace, the love that you found here. And we also would like to share that to as many people as possible. So we love to have friends here to practice with us and to contribute the energy of mindfulness, and also to receive that wonderful source of collective energy. Yes, so thank you for your practice.
Thank you for your practice. Countless beings we vow to free, ceaseless afflictions we vow to end, limitless truth doors we vow to open, the deepest paths of awakening we vow to realize. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Did you say 1 o'clock for Saturday, not 1:30? 1 o'clock. Okay.
Yeah, definitely 1 o'clock, Paula.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Three.